Hey guys, welcome back. It's Neon. I'm here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And happy Father's Day to fathers out there.
Happy Father's Day to Neon.
And to me, yeah, I guess I'm a dad, huh?
I would hope so.
I hope so.
You guess? Okay.
Yeah, thank you very much. And happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. And for those of you who don't have kids, call your dad today.
Yes.
If you can. So do that. And speaking of dads, or bad dads, I guess we could talk about Luke Skywalker in The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
Because he had a bad father.
Right.
His father was terrible.
Now he's terrible too.
Now he's terrible too, thanks to The Last Jedi. No, this is really interesting. This was floating around on Twitter, and it's another one of these studies trying to calculate why people didn't like The Last Jedi. Here we are, only a few months out from Episode 9, and we're still debating The Last Jedi,
right.
And we're trying to prove that the man babies and the trolls had it in for The Last Jedi.
Any reason other than maybe the movie wasn't that good?
Yeah, any reason other than that. Now, there was, last year, there was another theory that Russian bots were responsible.
We had a video on that.
Yeah, responsible for people hating The Last Jedi, and even CNET came out and called shenanigans. They said that's bullshit. That's not what actually happened. Some people just did not like the movie.
There was a lot of flaws with that study, just like there's going to be a lot of flaws in the study we're talking about right now, which we'll talk about here.
Yeah, the sampling is ridiculous. It almost seems like they're cherry picking.
Oh, we'll get into that in a moment.
Yeah,
Just go ahead.
This version of the story coming from Screen Rant. Survey says political beliefs may explain why fans don't like The Last Jedi.
Right, because if you don't like The Last Jedi, you're clearly Republican. But
just Republicans.
And if you like
hate
it,
that.
you are clearly a Democrat. Except the fact that I lean Democrat and I don't like The Last Jedi.
Yeah, same here.
Explain that one.
Yeah, I did not like what they did to Luke Skywalker. It's really that simple. I didn't like what they did to Luke.
And I'm not Republican, so yeah.
So a survey on the Star Wars fandom has found that political beliefs could be the reason why many fans dislike Star Wars: The Last Jedi. This movie has become sort of a litmus test, hasn't it, for what your like? It's almost like they lump you, the internet, Twitter in particular, lumps you into one camp or the other based on whether or not you like this damn movie. And it's just a damn movie. It gets better.
I'm going to take this sentence. Of course, Star Wars: The Last Jedi got plenty of glowing reviews, but a vocal minority. Vocal minorities don't cause Lucasfilm to change the entire direction of the way they're doing things. Vocal minorities don't tank an entire movie. Plus, it failed. It was divided and it caused issues. And Solo failed internationally. You know what? There aren't political biases that are the United States political biases in other countries.
Yeah,
explain that.
This movie did more damage to the Star Wars franchise financially than any other entry. Even Episode 2, Attack of the Clones was pretty weak, and it still did more damage than Attack of the Clones.
Yeah, and they said that, of course, some Star Wars fans expressed their disdain by The Last Jedi, supposedly feminist politics by harassing. They keep bringing up Kelly Marie Tran. Yeah, and then those people who did harass her, that was garbage, and they shouldn't have done that. I mean, but I think there's more to it than that. But those people should not have harassed our social media. I completely, 100% say that they shouldn't have done that. 100%.
Yeah,
but that's not the majority of Star Wars fans.
There are plenty of people out there who did not like The Last Jedi, who said nothing to the cast and crew. A lot of them aren't even online. They're just like, oh yeah, that one kind of sucked, didn't it?
Yeah, who were we talking to the other day, and they said they don't even like. My mom. We were at a convention, and she said she'd ask people Star Wars questions because there was a little conquest where people could go to you and they answered a question right. They get a little bottle cap for prizes and stuff. My mom would ask them Star Wars questions when she'd say, "Would you know about Star Wars?" Most of them would like, "Oh, I don't like those Disney Star Wars movies."
Yeah, there are a lot of people who maybe they're not online.
Men and women, by the way.
Men and women who just don't like the direction Star Wars has gone in. I mean, I think Solo's box office. You can try to explain it away, any way you want to. Some people were like, "Oh, it was a boycott." I just think it was people didn't give a shit anymore, and they didn't go.
I think it's a combination of the two. So anyway, we're gonna look at the study.
Well, we can look at here. They talk about it. According to a survey conducted by social scientist Mark H. White II, Esquire, there might now be tangible proof after he found that Star Wars fans that tend to have sexist and conservative beliefs, like those are mutually exclusive.
This is clearly a biased study. Anyway.
Have sexist and conservative beliefs and a negative attitude toward political correctness also tend to dislike Star Wars: The Last Jedi. To understand White's findings better, a bit of background on his survey is necessary, and we'll talk about that. The previous phase of his research found that there are 3 main types of Star Wars fans. No, I think there's more than that. Prequel skeptics, fans of the original and sequels, but not the prequels. Saga lovers, who rate the entire franchise favorably. And TLJ disowners, who dislike Star Wars The Last Jedi. Here's the thing. I don't hate the prequels like a lot of people do, but I hated The Last Jedi.
Wait, I'm confused. Wait. Let's look at this for a second. 3 types. Prequel skeptics, fans of the original and the sequels, but not the prequels. Okay. Saga lovers who love everything. And The Last Jedi disowners. What are people who like the prequels and who like the classics but don't like the new movies? Where's the category for those people? Because I think most people fit in those categories.
Because they're saying Last Jedi disowners. Like, in my case anyway, I didn't hate The Force Awakens. I did. I thought it had...
I didn't hate it. I just was like, I already saw it.
Yeah, but I mean, and I've actually liked Rogue One. I've liked Solo. Yeah. The Last Jedi is the only movie in the saga that I can legitimately say I despise.
But I'm saying, right here, we're flawed from the beginning. 3 main types of Star Wars. My research that you went in with a clearly biased stance on. 3 types. Star Wars prequel skeptics, fans of the original and the new ones. Yeah. They didn't like the prequels. Saga lovers who like everything, and The Last Jedi disowners don't like The Last Jedi. But what about people who like the prequels and the original movies? People who like the original movies. Where's the category for that?
Yeah, don't we have, because there are a lot of Star Wars fans who only like the original trilogy.
Right. So I'm saying this is already biased by the 3 categories, because you're not taking into account those who just like the classics, those who like the classics and the prequels. You're not taking them account at all. It's those who love everything, those who like the new movies, and the people who hate The Last Jedi. That's clearly a biased sampling to begin with. So we're already starting off with a bias.
By asking survey respondents a series of targeted questions...
Yeah, they're targeted.
...that determined whether they demonstrated hostile sexism and benevolent sexism, White found that Last Jedi disowners expressed more sexist beliefs than prequel skeptics and saga lovers. Last Jedi disowners also reported more conservative politics and anti-PC sentiments than prequel skeptics and saga lovers.
Yeah, because it's clearly biased. Well, instead of going through all this, let's look at the actual study, because we're going to go here all day.
It's flawed.
This whole benevolent... What the hell is benevolent sexism? That sounds like an oxymoron.
I don't understand.
Okay, but the questions for the benevolent sexism actually irritated me as a woman.
Are you a good misogynist or a bad misogynist?
Yeah, kind of. Okay, so the sampling method. Okay, basically it's like I put together this survey to better understand the attitudes of the Star Wars fandom. I greatly enjoyed the 2 sequel trilogy movies, so we're coming in with a bias.
Yeah.
And I'm surprised by how divisive this film has been. Because, I loved it. Why does everybody else love it?
Right.
So I wanted to survey the fans of the movies understand the controversy. Because, it doesn't make sense to me. Because, this is my opinion and it's right, damn it. So it goes about why it appealed to different people. So I designed a survey to look at the diversity of the fandom's attitudes. So they talk about part 1 where they discuss the details about where he got the survey results from. But this is where it gets interesting.
The sampling method is flawed.
But I want to point out this point. I recruited fans by snowball sampling, which is a type of convenience sampling. Basically, it was a technique where they basically less than ideal for a representative sample. So basically, asked people to do it. He didn't like the response because he didn't get that many women.
Is this like snowballing in Clerks?
No.
Okay. I'm just checking.
I'm assuming not. Anyway, so he didn't get enough women from doing that. So after the first 1,000 responses came in, I worried about not getting enough women, because women are going to prove my point, aren't they? To take the survey. So I ran the study simultaneously on Amazon's Mechanical Turk website, where I asked 300 Star Wars fans to respond, and I used TurkPrime.com to only recruit women. So you're already clearly picking a bias.
The ladies will back me up on this.
You are clearly having a bias. If you did a snowball sampling, which wasn't an accurate sampling by your own admission, but it would get you a sampling of Star Wars fans, why did you have to then turn around and go and deliberately do another sampling to specifically target the people that you thought would agree with you? So
exactly it.
And that's exactly what you did.
Yeah.
So, this is absolute garbage right from the sampling method. Using the survey method has important limitations, since it isn't sampled in a representative way. No shit! You think? I cannot speak to how it accurately estimates like 75% of the people like this movie. You're right! It doesn't! You should admit it. So it means that there are unobserved dependents in the data. You mean like a whole category that it doesn't exist of people who like the classics and the prequels that aren't even in there? But he goes on about it would create trouble to estimate uncertainty because of this. I'll be more conservative in how I interpret an uncertainty. As I went and found a bunch of women to try to give me the results I wanted. I'm a woman. Would have blew the shit out of your survey because I hated The Last Jedi. I'm also not conservative.
Yeah.
Mind blown, dude.
Yeah, this is like, I mean, look, we're not going to get into the. I mean,
I love the questions.
Well, we'll put links in the video because this could take us like 3 hours.
Wait, hold on. I got to read some of these questions.
Okay, wait.
I studied the psychology of prejudice and politics in graduate school. I'm sure you did.
Is that a book?
And I chose survey questions based on my personal research interests. I picked questions that are personally in my personal research interests, as well as what I thought would be useful predictors of attitudes. Okay? I mean, when you wouldn't deliberately, skewed your sampling by making sure it targeted only women. So you asked how they found the survey. I asked respondents how they felt about each of the main Star Wars movies on a scale from 1 very negative, 10 very positive. And I didn't include the spin-off movies primarily to make the survey shorter. Character favorability. What were you gonna say?
Well, that's kind of a deficit right there because the 2 spin-off movies actually do factor in because there are a lot of people who hate The Last Jedi that actually did like Rogue One.
Well, there you go, talking logically. You can't have logic.
Well, again, a lot of the same criticisms that people like this say people have about The Last Jedi, female lead, et cetera, get blown out of the water.
Exactly.
With Rogue One.
Exactly.
So this is a very selective. He's basically just looking for people to agree with him.
You mean like when you pick on you try to target just women?
Yeah.
For your survey? Character favorability. On a scale of 1 to 10, I asked participants how they felt about various characters, which I limited to the movies I asked about. This is why beloved characters like Ahsoka Tano were not included.
He's talking about sexism, he's talking about gender bias, but Ahsoka Tano was incredibly popular.
But that's because it wasn't in the movies he asked about. But I'm just saying,
Well, yeah, but if they say, how do you feel about strong female characters in Star Wars? And again, if you're leaving out Rogue One, and you're leaving out Clone
Ahsoka
Wars
Tano.
from
you might have a less than favorable view based on just those movies. Fandom information. To better understand the type of fan report responding, I asked people to rate themselves on a fan scale from 1 casual to 10 fanatic. I included a checklist of Star Wars activities, cosplay, reading the novels, attending meetups, and so on. Lastly, I asked how much respondents cared about what the other fans and professional critics thought about the films. Well, I think I would have been hitting close to a 10 on that one. I asked respondents how excited they are for The Rise of Skywalker on a scale of 1 to 10. The Big Five, I asked participants to rate themselves on dimensions like how extroverted and anxious they saw themselves to be. This measures what psychologists call the Big Five personality traits.
What does that have to do with politics? Is he trying to draw a line between political views and whether or not you're like an extrovert or an introvert?
I don't know. Nostalgia for many, Star Wars is intimately tied to nostalgia. So I asked people how nostalgic they were for various aspects of their past. Ambivalent sexism inventory. These questions.
Ambivalent sexual inventory.
No, ambivalent sexism inventory. These questions caused the most reactions. Social psychologists published a scale measuring 2 related types of sexism. The first, called hostile sexism, which captures a more traditional idea of what we think as being sexism, that women are inferior to men, that gender relations are naturally antagonistic, etc. The second is called benevolent sexism, which captures a sneakier and seemingly positive form of sexism. For example, these are beliefs that women are pure and that men need to protect them. I'll tell you what, the benevolent questions made me want to vomit. While these beliefs seem positive, research has shown in 2 decades since the original work that these beliefs can have negative effects for women. No shit, they made me want to throw something. Anyway, political correctness. A related criticism is that Disney has been preoccupied with political correctness in the sequel trilogy. No kidding. This is a vague concept. No, not that vague. But it can help predict attitudes. I asked how much respondents thought that PC culture was interfering with the free exchange of ideas. I'm not going to go through all this. Tradition, empathy, movie importances, demographics. The last day I asked demographics. Year, age, born, gender, education, race, political affiliation. Aside from political affiliation, which was a 7-point scale, it's really raining. Here comes the rain, the sadness of this study. Okay, so that's part 1. I think if we go back, we'll find part 2.
Yeah, I don't want to go through all this. I just think it's clearly biased. I mean, we can put links out there too.
Yeah, but I want to cover some things. Hold on. I'm sorry. I know you want to get done.
Well, no, I'm just saying it's
But here we got the movies.
Yeah, and how people rate them.
A lot is going on, so here's how to read the graph. There are 24 panels of this graph, blah, blah, blah. Each distribution of favorability scores. Each row is a different cluster. Oh, yeah, there's a different cluster, all right. And each column is a different episode of Star Wars. It goes on about the examples, and then they talk about three major things, which is absolute ass bullshit. The TLJ disowners, these fans that love the original trilogy. Oh, no, now it's changed. These fans who love the original trilogy like other clusters, but they feel middling towards the prequels and are torn over The Force Awakens. But then why did they get the name disowners?
Yeah, it doesn't make sense, because actually, what if you like the original trilogy, didn't like The Force Awakens, but liked The Last Jedi?
Why did the prequel skeptics get a name of prequel skeptics? The fans who like the original and sequel, but they're
haters.
But they don't. Yeah, they're about the prequels. They're skeptics, but the saga lovers and then disowners. I mean, just by the labeling, you could have called it the last. You could have called it something else like original trilogy, fans, original trilogy,
saga fans, original trilogy fans.
You could have called it something else. The Last Jedi disowners. Everything else had like a mostly positive spin on it. So anyway, they go on about that, and then so there we got an answer at least to where they And then the last part was when they talk about sexism. I only want to read this part because I want to read what these questions were, right? Because these are too funny. So the questions they used for the sexism questions. These are the questions they asked for hostile sexism, okay? I measured hostile sexism with two statements. Most women interpret innocent remarks or acts as being sexist. Feminists are making unreasonable demands of men.
That's quite a broad...
I averaged these together with a general picture of hostile sexism. Benevolent sexism was measured with these questions. And these questions actually angered me more. Women should be cherished and protected by men. That's
cherish
right.
you.
Cherish this ass. Many women have a quality of purity that few men possess. That's right, guys. I am a being of light, and you men could not even touch this because
her ass must be cherished.
It's cherished, but it's glowing, pure. It's pure. It's a pure ass.
It's a pure ass of energy.
These actually made me mad. Women should be cherished and protected by men, and many women have a quality of purity.
You.
I know, but as a woman, I'm just like, that just irritated me. I mean, you're talking to the woman who one time when I was a teenager, when I was like 18 or 19, we went to church, and we were at church, and it was like, I forget, it was like Mother's Day or something, I forget. But they had all the women in the church get in the center so that all the men could circle them and pray for them. And I literally sat there growling. And now I'm Christian, but I literally sat there growling because I was so mad by this.
Demon possessed.
And they probably thought I was possessed. And my parents still think it's hilarious this day because I just sat there like mumbling and like, are you effing kidding me? I didn't say effing, but it's just
yeah, like, right in church. Like, you're growling and saying, are you effing
real
kidding
mad.
me?
Come Father's Day, they didn't make the men sit in the middle and let the women pray around them about, I'm just like, I was really offended. I was totally offended. Anyway. But these questions made me feel the way that made me feel.
Neon.
These questions made me feel the way that made me feel. And I relate more to the hostile questions than I did the benevolent as a woman. But anyway, they go through this whole thing, and they did the prequel skeptics, saga lovers, and Last Jedi disowners, and they rank everything according to they have their PC beliefs and conservatism. What? And then they go and then do one about, here's a trilogy correlations, hostile sexism, benevolent sexism, and they rank anti-PC beliefs. So you're clearly just basing this on hostile, benevolent, and anti-PC. Where is the pro-PC beliefs, the extreme PC beliefs chart? If you're going to make it fair, why are you only measuring one side of it? You know what I mean?
Well,
the side that doesn't agree with you.
Small print, fine print. Again, however, I will point to the variability around these lines. Although this relationship exists, not everyone who dislikes the sequels is a sexist or bemoans PC culture.
Yes, but notice how they didn't put that chart. Hostile sexist people, benevolent sexism people, and anti-PC beliefs in people. Where's the pro-PC beliefs in people?
Oh, God. The fact that, now they're rating each character. Holdo, Rey, Rose. Okay, this is nuts. This is like, you've got entirely too much free time.
Two, you right from the first couple paragraphs, you admitted that it was not a representative sampling.
Right, so your data is flawed, your sampling method's flawed, and it got so bad with this stupid
this
Russian...
Was last year.
This was last year.
The study from last year.
The study from last year that said that, Russian trolls and Russian bots were influencing the reaction to The Last Jedi. It was so ridiculous and so blown out of proportion that CNET had to come out and say the sampling was flawed. This is a complete bullshit theory.
I came out and said it was a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah.
And I explained why academically it was a bunch of bullshit.
This too is also a bunch of bullshit. Sometimes you just don't like a movie.
Right.
Sometimes those reasons are intangible.
How come there's never, maybe this didn't like it because it wasn't good? That's never one of the options. But, Disney, on the other hand, is worried about that. That's why they've been doing all that they're doing with the new movie, trying to appeal to the classic. Why is it that they're doing classic on everything?
Yeah, all the merchandise, everything's really beating the original trilogy drum.
Why go back to the classics? Because because everybody likes the classics, no matter what side of the spectrum you're on, which is probably, well, you'd think so. But then they were trying to tank Mark Hamill and the different people before because they didn't say the right thing.
Yeah, I would say the one consistency with all of it, though, is most people can agree that the original trilogy, was the core of Star Wars, and then you can argue prequels and sequels and spin-offs. But
Mark Hamill put the picture of them all and said the movie everybody wanted to see with them in the cockpit of the Falcon, and then everybody was trying to bash
bunch of
him.
old men.
And it's those
How
people.
dare they?
Those people, to me, for all the people you're yelling about, the extreme right side or alt-right Nazis or whatever you want to call them, that supposedly forced Kelly Marie Tran off of Twitter. How is that extreme leftist bullshit they did to Mark Hamill any different? It's not. The only difference is he didn't leave. He's like, screw you.
Yeah, right.
I'm like, there's no difference. It's the exact same behavior. So one behavior is not acceptable compared to the other. Both behaviors were wrong. I completely condemn and say either one of those behaviors is absolute garbage and no one should behave that way. But how come one's acceptable and one is not?
This basically, to me, this just comes across like this dude liked the movie. He couldn't fathom why so many people didn't like the movie.
Oh, he looks like the kind that would like the movie.
So he's going to use his sciencey skills to try to mathematically prove.
Sciencey skills learn how to dress.
To mathematically prove that everyone who didn't like the movie he liked is some kind of Nazi-esque hater, and they've got and then he can just chalk it up to, well, these people are just haters because they're politics. Then
he made it about politics, and the thing is, and we didn't get enough sampling that he wanted when he threw it out there, a wide net to get Star Wars fans, and didn't get the amount of women back that he wanted. He went specifically and targeted women so he could try. That skews your.
He's already skewed. Okay, it's already going to be skewed. Look, he says, I have BAs in psychology and sociology from the University of Missouri. I'm passionate about combining my skills in a wide variety of statistical methods, programming, data management, machine learning, experimental design, casual inference, and survey construction with domain expertise in the psychology of norms, attitudes, behavior, and politics to help promote progressive values for the social good.
Right. So, right in his own bio, he's clearly stating that he has a bias. He deliberately, by his own description of how he attained the data, he showed clear bias. By the way, he labeled things in the data, clear bias. There's a clear bias. This is not
even
valid.
In his bio, he's basically like, I'm going to push progressive agendas by using data and using my skills to push my progressive agenda. That's basically
exactly
what he's saying.
That is what he's saying. So right away, you could throw it out because it's unbiased report.
Toss this out. And I'm sorry, it's just a matter of time. If this thing gets the momentum that the Russian troll thing got, it's a matter of time until another news outlet comes out and says, yeah, this is bullshit.
Geeky says it's bullshit. Geeky's cherished, pure, glowing ass says it is bullshit.
I can't talk.
By his own questions, women are pure and should be protected by men, and we have the purism that men don't have. So as a purist woman, you're full of bullshit.
It's Father's Day. You're not that pure.
I am on a pedestal of cherishness and purity.
Cherishness and purity. Okay, I think this whole thing's bullshit. And clearly has an agenda. He admits that he's biased one way.
Your internet mom and dad say it's crap. Happy Father's Day. Internet dad says it sucks.
It sucks. Your dad says it's crap. My dad says you guys are full of crap.
That's right. My dad says you guys are full of crap.
That's right. Your internet dad says you're full of crap. Okay, so we're going to wrap this one up.
All right.
Okay, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, rants, gaming videos, and opinions from Geeky's glorious, cherished, glowing
pure
ass.
That's right.
That just sounds weird. Okay, we're going to go.
Okay,
bye.
Bye.
Hey guys, thanks for watching Clownfish TV. Please consider supporting the channel. Go to clownfishsupport.com. That's clownfishsupport.com. And if you want to join our community, go to clownfishtalk.com. That's clownfishtalk.com. Please subscribe, ring the bell for notifications. We will talk to you next time.